These are two lovely little fan cars that I have made. Two of basically three that have ever properly existed. Sure, there's the T34 made by the guy that made the McLaren F1, but it's not out yet, so we're not going to count that one at least. Though to be fair, he was the one that was the driving force behind creating this car. But I don't want you to think that these vehicles are perfect. This one, which came first, by a long shot, had one other lovely little advantage that a lot of other cars didn't have. It had an automatic. Now that sounds like a terrible idea in a race car, but the theory was that having your hands on the steering wheel is where your hand should be, which will give you a lot greater control over the vehicle. The problem is your brakes would cook because the automatic was always pushing through the brakes. So metallurgy hadn't quite gotten there with brakes, so it was a flawed car and you would just end up crashing into a wall. This one, on the other hand, the BT46, probably the most famous fan car of all time. Even if you're young or old, it doesn't matter. You've probably seen this one around. The problem is it's tied to your RPM. So if you're, say, driving up really super fast, you're getting a lot of downforce, but then you start slowing down, your RPM drops, and you have less downforce. So you have to keep those RPMs up to be able to go through corners, which is going to be a problem. If you go around a corner, you're going to lose your traction. I was kind of hoping that I would crash there in the same place, but then, of course, filmmaking is never going to go my way. Before you ask, yes, this is actually affected by RPM. If you look at the vehicle move, it goes with the RPM. That is because the fan is actually connected through the transmission directly to the engine. So the more revs you have, the more downforce you're going to get. If we come over to this one, this actually ran on a second motor, so these were always constantly going at the same amount. So working on this one, luckily, was a lot easier. But how is the downforce actually created? Well, this one particularly has, if we bring it up, some crossbeam sort of things. It's going to be really hard to see because it's just these little nodes, but those will create a force pushing upwards, meaning the vehicle will go downwards. Or maybe that does it in a different way. I don't actually really understand how automation does it. What I did here was I created a thruster, kind of like the JATO on the rocket bus thing. Yeah, it's not actually downforce that is creating the downwards force. And I've linked it up to the RPM, so the more the RPM goes up, the more this will push downwards. Now, that brings me to a really interesting point. We have the new update from beamng, the 3.1. Sorry, hold on, the 0.31. At this rate, I'm going to probably be 80 before the full game comes out. Like, a decade to get a third of the way through the game? Come on! Moving on from that little point, we're at 3.1, and aerodynamics is still incredibly rudimentary. Now, I understand that creating a fan system for sorry, that was meant to be suction. I don't know what word was about to come out then, but it's really complicated. But generally what it is you have planes, or triangles, created, and as air is measured inwards, then it exerts a force which will push the vehicle downwards. It's incredibly rudimentary. It's not exactly how downforce works. So, that brings me to my absolute desire to create the fastest car in beamng. If you have a look at my other times that I've done through Laguna Seca, you'll see that the times get pretty fast, but I reckon I can absolutely obliterate that. The idea is I'm going to start with a template car, so I want something nice, big and wide, but also short in wheelbase and quite square. So I'm thinking something like the Hirochi SBR4. Then I'm going to strip everything out of it, put a giant fan in the middle, and then that fan is going to be rotating this way, and it's going to be pushing directly downwards. This isn't going to be an SBR itself, so I'm gonna have to start by just grabbing a whole bunch of things. So we want the J-beam, we want the body, we want differentials, we don't need doors. I'm not sure if we're gonna go with the electric motors, we'll leave that for now. And most importantly, the suspension. Is that it? I don't think we need anything else. Oh, transaxle. Then I'm gonna start butchering away, because we don't need very much of the actual model. And here's gonna come my first big decision. Am I going to run all-wheel drive or not? Because at the moment, this giant drive shaft is going to be fully in my way. Like, there is no hiding the fact that that right in the middle. I mean, I suppose I could try running the fan just a little bit higher. And I know that there's no actual ground effect for a reason to have the fan run really super low, but I wanted to. Because of that, no all-wheel drive for you. I suppose I should start by actually checking to see what sort of size fan we're gonna run here. Is that how big we want the fan to be? That's gonna be problematic if it's that big. So what realistically could we run there? I'm thinking that. Then we could even bring the front suspension back a little bit. It'll be a little bit of a shorter wheelbase. But I think that will work for us. All we gotta do now is go back into U and start cutting things out. Then a quick little refresh, and what do we get? Perfect! It is double-sided. Does it look great? No. Does it look good enough? Yes. Well, I mean, we got a few little problems also with pipes poking through, but I think now's the time to try to mount ourselves a fan. Oh, I suppose we could get rid of the top parts. Okay, time to stop faking it. So we're gonna import a J-beam and delete all the parts that we're not using, which is at least those parts. We probably actually get rid of the back stuff here too as well. This is gonna be so incredibly light. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. And perfect. Okay, nothing has fallen off, so it looks like we're pretty good. How's the crash physics at the moment? Oh, that bent a little too easily. So, in here, I'm going to have to create a fan of some sort. Okay, what do we want to do here? Okay, yes, we want to start in Blender. You know what, actually, this is pretty terrible. Oh my god, that is so bad. Whatever, it's fine. She'll be right, mate. Let's go ahead, apply this array, then we're gonna export it. This is where things get a little bit tricky. Stall angle is unfortunately done in radians, which, is a thing. If we have a look, a radian is the angle subtended from the center of the circle which intercepts an arc equal to the length of the radius of the... It's a thing. I don't get it. I would work in degrees, but it seems that coders like to work in radians, so sure. I believe that a stall angle of 0.75 is fine, I don't know. And then the lift amount, this is actually a fairly decent amount of lift, so we're gonna see how that works out. I've also set up a slide node and rail system for the middle axle part that I was talking about earlier. If I didn't talk about that earlier, I should have talked about that earlier. Basically, I have to have, for the rotator mechanics, for it to be like this, and then all of the outer node bits will rotate around, and then the extra outer node bits. I did a little bit of extra rigidification. Let me show you what I mean. You can see here that I've added a lot of extra nodes. This is the center axle. Everything else will have to rotate around that. And to make this a little bit more stable, I set it up as a slide node and rail section. Okay, let's see how this works out. Giant fan mean giant super duper fan. And that should rotate all on its own. Perfect. Except it seems to be colliding. Damn it. Not actually sure entirely what's colliding. Oh, you know what? These little doodads here, maybe? I'm not sure. Grab something like you, put that name in there, go back to here, a non-collidable goes in there, then grab you, put you there, and make sure to reset you to a normal type, because if I don't close this off with a normal type, it'll then go, well, everything below here, which will be in every other J-beam, will also be non-collidable, and I don't want that. Now, back to the game, refresh, hopefully that fixes the issue. No, it does not. But hey, look at that, they're non-collidable now and they will freely spin. Why is there a dash in here again? When did that happen? I didn't order you. Also, that's very smooth. I think it just doesn't like being attached to the interior nodes so much. Done. Okay, fixed. They're no longer attached and this is still fairly rigid. So we are happy to let that go. It's finally in here. I have capped the other side. I am going to eventually put some sort of like cage on top of this thing to give it a thing to wrap around. But if you have a look here, they haven't done it here, so I didn't have any 3D model to grab onto. I'm gonna have to figure that out myself, but look at that. fan diddly-tastic. I also, okay, that wasn't meant down. I also put it, this shroud, that is, of course, the shroud from here. Though, the color is very different. What the hell? Anyway, that is there, the fan is there. Now I need to turn this into a rotator, and then I need to apply power to it. What was the last thing I made with a rotator that can rip the code from? I don't remember. The boat used a rotator. All right, I believe it was like the Oni boat. There we go. Good, okay, some nice easy code to rip. All right, stick you in here, and then I have to figure out how to make you work. I think this is, so then there's a name for it. So the rotator is gonna be called Super Duper Fan Car. Then the group, I believe, is the flex body, which should be this. Though I could be wrong. Then these values are going to change, but I don't remember what they're meant to be. Node 1, the first axle node, the second axle node, name of the stabilizing node. Yep. That's the thing I know about. I think we're just going to go with the top node and the bottom node. So that would be like Giant F11 and Giant F9. Then node arm, along with a node coupling. This node will be used to apply braking counter torque to the suspension and what? Node arm should be located roughly where the brake caliper should be. What? Keep in mind that this node needs to be far enough from the node cup. What? And the heavy enough a node that is too. What? I don't. Sure. Giant FR1. Okay, good. That's way out on the edge. What I have to do now is create an electric motor of some sort that should just stay on all the time that will connect to this. All right, so I brought out the large spinner, and we're gonna use its code basically. We're gonna go with motor. We're not gonna have, actually, you know what? Yeah, we will have a sound config. I think that's pretty much all we can get from here. We'll have to create a custom controller though. Then in here, put that in. 15,000 torque, that's a lot of torque. I think instead of that, we can go like, let's go 300 torque. Even that might be a bit much. Then throttle name, throttle factor. I think we're gonna change these up so then it can be our own custom controller. Well, let's go back here and see. Okay, got that. Put that in here.
3 hours later.
I've got something working. Okay, so the electric motor there is just kind of sitting doing nothing, but if I rev it a little bit, it does start up spinning the fan. Fortunately, that's not what I want. Wait, I think I know what happened. Clutch is going to be clutch. Okay, this is intersecting, unfortunately, with the normal engine stuff, so we're gonna have to change this up. Motor is gonna have to change to be B fan for big fan, and then that'll go in here. Then clutch is going to be a friction clutch. That's going to be called fan clutch. Or wait, actually, B fan clutch, keep that nomenclature normal. Then shaft is going to be called fan axle. Or once again, B fan axle for that thing. Connected wheel is correct. Okay, let's see what happens now. This shouldn't be having a problem. Wait, hold on. No, B fan goes into here. Okay, there we go. I fixed the issue. Now, if I refresh, that should all be good. Okay, yes? Now, no fan action? Good. It's currently set up for going over a certain speed. So, let's put it on some flat ground. Face it away from things. Then drive. Will it turn on? It doesn't look like it's turning on. It should be at about, I think, 120 kilometers an hour. Perfect! Oh my god, that's amazing. Except, not quite so much. What I want to do instead is, so we'll load up the lure, is to have the electrics value thingy where it's trying to test wheel speed, instead test to see if there is like the ignition on. I don't know how to do this. Oh, I think I figured it out. So, I have set up a bit of code which says that when the vehicle is turned on, the fan will go immediately to the amount of throttle that I set. At the moment, RPM is set to 76 approximately. If I drive around, it gets shifted a little bit by air, but that is because we're going to set it to this. So if we set that to 0, 1, we hit Control R, that 76 is now about 600? 700? Perfect. Then if we change this again to that, it should basically set us all the way out to the maximum RPM, which is 2000 RPM. And if we turn it off, turns off. And if we turn it back on, okay, that was the mistake. It is now working. Let's go over to vehicle config though, and let's go to aerodynamics debug and turn on drag and lift. Okay. Are we generating any drag or lift? It doesn't look like it. Let's go in and change a few values then. Probably mostly to the lift and stall angles. Okay, let's just go buck wild and go 520. Really, is that it? They're barely going any longer. All right, well, let's just keep going. 1500. It needs to be anywhere near close to what the normal wing does. Wait, maybe it's the drag amount that we've got wrong. All right, 100 it is, and we'll get rid of the 1500 lift. I doubt that's actually how it works, but we'll see what happens. Yep, nope, that's not how it works. Okay, 1500 it is. Then a refresh and... Damn, they're still only 3 times as big. Does it yet move the suspension? Frick, it doesn't really look like it. Okay, from a near 0, let's turn it on and see how much the suspension drops. Oh, I could see it moving pixels. Ever so slight. All right, let's double that 3500-ish. Zoom all the way in. And then I'm gonna try to angle this perfectly. So we could just, nope, okay, slow the camera down. Okay, we're gonna see the overlap here. So turn the motors on. Barely anything. Wait, I know how to measure this unlike an idiot. Weight distribution, perfect. It's currently 390 on the rear. If we turn this off, oh, that's not much weight at all. Oh no. This is a bad time. beamng takes into consideration the size of the plane. So let's go all leading edges, then rotate them out to be bigger, then all trailing edges, and rotate them the other way. Okay, let's try exporting that. Let's turn the car on, and oh my god, next to no change. Like a couple extra kilos. This is abysmal. Let's turn you up to 300,000. Not 3 million! That might be a little too much. Oh, I think maybe I had the numbers wrong because it's now very much wanting to push onto the ground. Okay, that's no good. 300,000, that was, wait, okay, let's bring that back to 100,000. I think I was doing the numbers wrong in my head. I think it was only like 15,000. At 100,000, it's generating a lot. You can see that it is actually like physically holding the body down. And it's also more on one side than the other. What the hell? Driving around, oh, it's struggling to move. Now we've moved the weight onto the other wheel? Oh, now it's even. Okay, that's the thing that's happening. Let's turn off the visualization. Whoa, whoa, what is happening? I don't understand what's happening. What just happened? What the hell? Hold on. beamng Aero. Sure, that's the thing that's happening. I don't get it. My brain cannot fathom what is happening right now. Okay, oh, the fan's flipping. Aha! I'm gonna try increasing the height of this a little bit. It might not work, but we'll give it a try. Now what'll happen if we drive around? Will he be more stable for me? Oh, we got 2,000 kilos on the rear. Oh, something's broken. Again. It's like there's no weight on the rear. What the hell? I don't get it. I don't understand. I think the whole idea is balked. Damn it. Okay. I've done a whole bunch of work in tuning. I even set up a variable, so then if you wanted to move the fan's place... Okay, well, thank you, game. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Tuning in here, we have fan rearward offset. And because that would mean that there'd be a bit of a gap in between the body and the thing, I kind of just duplicated the body just a little bit, and now it moves along with it, so that's kind of good. It's not a perfect solution, but it works. But what I really wanted to do was compare this to a normal car. So, let's bring out a default rear-wheel drive SBR4. And we're going to do the same changes. Race rear tires and race front tires. Then a bunch of engine work, including a 2.5 liter, adjustable race ECU, stage 3 variable boost, probably some sort of race X pipe, and a 6-speed sequential race. And let's set a lap. Little bit of oversteer there. That was scary. Then turn through here. Oh, it's quite slow. I was doing testing a lot with the other car on this track. But it just... No. This does understeer a whole lot more. And, oh my god. Would you look at the time? With just a little bit more power, and obviously a lot more practice because I spun out and crashed so many goddamn times. That's the fastest car I've had around this game. Oh my god, I hate myself. Why is it so fast? I don't understand. How is that possible? Coming to the realization that my life means nothing. Well, if there's one thing that I could take away here, is that I'm pretty sure the new fan car is going to be a lot faster, and I just remembered I'm probably out of focus right now. Oh dear god. If this isn't faster, I am going to absolutely spit a biscuit. Okay, we're off the line, I think, a lot faster. I can brake a lot later. Turn a lot harder, even though I've only got downforce on one wheel. On the back. Pushing up through the power band. Wait, do I not have a turbo on? I don't see the turbo gauge. Is that correct? I'm not sure. I also don't have ABS like the last one, so that's probably going to be a huge factor. I feel that I'm not as fast. I could smell it in the air. Okay, power. Oh, whoopsie daisies. That hasn't gone to plan. That wasn't my plans. Okay, that was a little bit shorter, but I feel as if I'm generating a lot more drag, so my high speed isn't going to be as much. That made my braking point a lot later. How fast here? Oh, okay, quite fast. I feel that there's probably some time to be gained, but I don't think it's going to be huge, like, comparative to the other lap. Okay, I could have gone a lot faster there. And power out, pow, 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 pow! I'm slower already! Oh my god, I am so angry. 6 seconds? Come on! Okay, I feel that I'm onto a real killer now. Okay, there we go. This has got to be a lot faster. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Power? Oh yeah, we're gonna be a lot faster, aren't we? Fastest car! Hell yes! Ah, 2 seconds! I feel that just stripping the body to make it a lot lighter would have been worth 2 seconds. Come on! I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect this to be like a blisteringly fast car, but I expected it to, like, oh my god. I'm still blown away that the normal car is so much faster than every race car I've ever made. Why? I hate this. I hate it so much. But this also, this is a lot of fun. This is something to be tried because it is so weird at handling. Having that traction on that back left tire sometimes just being like, this is the one that's going to stick, really plays some weird tricks under braking and then different under acceleration. It is something to be held. Oh boy. Well, this has been quite the episode. This is actually something I've thought about for the longest time. This is the first time I made a fan car. I always thought, well, fans wouldn't actually work in beamng, and then I came to the realization very quickly that the fan would have to be vertical and pointing directly downwards. So it's just something that I've been pondering for the longest time, and finally have gotten around to making it. Is it a great car? Yes. But is it a fantastic car? Yes. Is it the fastest and best car? Yes. I probably shouldn't have answered yes to all of those, but I love this thing so much. It is pretty wild. Am I probably going to revisit this? Hell no! beamng is just not really there when it comes to this sort of thing. So I'm going to stick to doing the other parameters and then use a thrust vector to be able to get the downforce that's required, which is how other games kind of do it. So I'm not going to complain too much. beamng is a lot more realistic than a lot of other ones, so it's going to actually properly simulate. It's not like, you know, a completely kind of garbage simulation of any sort of fan-created downforce. But if you haven't subscribed by now, what's wrong with you? Oh, okay. When I was doing this lap, I thought I'd only popped the front tire. I didn't realize I'd popped a rear tire as well. I thought that the front tire was... Okay, well, now you know that I pre-record these and then I put it into a third-person cinematic. Just, you know, something pretty to look at as I do the outro here. And speaking of outros, yes... Thank you, my channel members. And thank you, my top-tier channel member, the Rogue Tick the Crown Priest, who just has apparently way too much money and throws it away on somebody stupid like me that puts a giant frickin' fan in the middle of their car. Everybody else, though, thank you for being here. I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.